The Dune Awakening beta is coming to a close, and despite all of the patches, unfortunately, performance on the Steam Deck is not as good as we saw in the creator event. As I feared, with a larger server load, performance has taken quite a dive. Even with the lowest settings that we can get, and we have to turn off that frame generation because the frames are so low, it just introduces a ton of input latency. Can't even get textures up to medium, to put that down to low as well, and even go down to performance in the FSR3 upscaler, and we still can't hold 30 frames per second. In fact, around one of the larger areas at the anvil in the second biome, things are really sketchy just trying to drive around. And it's even worse when the sandworm appears, especially if it's nearby. We're pretty much in for slideshow territory. And it's unfortunate, but this is the state of things right now. So not looking good for the launch in around a month's time. When you're out of the way, back in your own base, then 30 frames per second is more common, but again, still not standard. And depending on how big you build your base and how often that worm appears will determine how often you plummet. Browsing the map once again, especially with the sandstorm effects, really is a low FPS experience. When we're out of the way in slightly more instance areas, it's not so bad, and we can push more than 30 frames per second occasionally, or manage to hold that 30 frames per second cap. But as soon as we go out and we start having effects go off, or that worm appearing anywhere near you, as well as other ships and other bits and pieces at night, then those frames per second just hit the floor again. We'll keep an eye on this one, and hopefully when the release version hits, we'll see some more optimizations. But I think that when we see even more players on servers, it's going to be a worse experience overall, at least on the Steam Deck for now. Fingers crossed for the release version then. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.